Race fans, good evening. It's just after 9 p.m. East Coast time, and welcome to NASCAR country, the heart and soul of this sport, based right around this area in western North Carolina, the state famous for being first in flight. Tonight, we take a slight trip just outside of downtown Charlotte in the town of Concord, where the premier Sim Racers Club Gen 4 edition gets ready to do battle on this iconic 1.5-mile oval. Good evening. Welcome to Redline Racing Network. Matt Metler is always up in the Tony Trapasso Memorial booth. Is qualifying currently underway as the field getting ready to do war tonight. 100 laps the distance here this evening. We currently watch Michael Larch finish up his qualifying lap. That looks like it's going to be good for P number 4 here. Let's go ahead and throw that up on the ticker for you folks at home. Again, want to thank everyone for joining us this evening, as it looks like Joseph McWhorter is going to have the pole wrapped up with a blistering 29.37 second lap time. Almost, in fact, a tenth faster than Chuck Sweeting. Looks to have P number 2 locked up. Almost a minute left in qualifying, as 12 of the drivers have put down a lap time. Still waiting on Doug Wasaki. And if he doesn't get out there on the track soon, very similar story for the HMFIC of the League of the 93 machine, Pat. Could be by design there, just to start from the rear of this thing, let things happen in front of them and be there at the end when it counts. Take a look at that 24 Red Bull paint scheme made famous by Brian Vickers back in the early, or I shouldn't say early, mid-2000s. Let's check in tonight on the weather. And again, can't get any better for this time of the year. Sim time just after 1 p.m., or for all you military folks, 13:19. Winds will be a factor this evening, as it's currently steady at 15 miles an hour, could be gusting up to 20. So the drivers will have to be conscientious of that, especially coming out of the turns 3 and 4 complex. 65 degrees ambient air temperature, humidity up there a little bit, not insane, but certainly you can feel it. 64 degrees on the water drain side of things. That's going to equivalent to a 76 degrees down there on the racing surface. So these cars will be making all the grip once they get a couple laps on those Goodyear Eagles. Again, this Gen 4 race car, that thing is like a high-octane thrill ride. Got the chance to take it out there on the racetrack for a couple hot laps, and my God, these guys are going to be sweating to the oldies, Gene Simmons styles, or Richard Simmons styles, as I was having a blast out there just trying to keep that thing straight. That field now gets set. Field now gets set to rock and roll behind that iRacing.com pace car as we clear that weather data out of the way for everyone. Let's widen things out just a little bit here. Again, Joseph McWhorter from St. Robert going to have the pole here. Outside of him, Chuck Sweeting, always a factor in these races in that 75 ride. The Red Bull machine, Bentley Grazer, going to roll off P3, while Michael Larch is going to try to lurch his way towards the front as he rolls off P4. The 13 machine, piloted by Travis Everett, going to roll off in that 5th place position, while Charles Woods, the outside of him, in that 98 machine. Sean Cochran is going to solidify himself in that 7th place position, while Bad boy Troy in the P8 for the 28. The 20 of Curtis Preston's going to roll off 9th, while GT, the master of going faster, Azari, is going to round out your top 10. Ray Poking is going to start in that 11th place position, while rolling off 12th here in the 31 machine, William Hawley. Doug Wysocki going to be further towards the back in the 34 as he's going to start 13th, and rounding out the 14 drivers to take the green flag here tonight. Up in the Northeast, where it's starting to get cool, but however, here this time of the year, it's actually pretty warm up there, but snow is on the horizon. The HMFIC of the league. Great profile photo on presentation for everyone else to check in with at home this evening. going to round up the rear with the gear tonight in that 14th place position. Let's send it now back up to the front. Actually, you know what? Let's give these paints a quick refresh here. All these cars are going to white out. Don't worry, folks. Those paints will reload back once again, as we now send it to the scenic view here while those cars do reload. That pace car now starts to roll the field and following suit behind. As we get set for 100 laps from Charlotte Motor Speedway, or this time of the year, as this is the legacy version of this racetrack, better known as Lowe's Motor Speedway. Joseph McWhorter wants to go fast, and that's exactly what he's been doing thus far over the course of this season. It's been fun to watch him do battle out there on the racetrack. Calm before the storm here is the Gen 4's best. Getting ready to do battle here tonight in prime time, right here on Redline Racing Network. Laser getting a case of the blinkies. You don't want to go Christmas mode just yet. As that pace car now enters the turns 3 and 4 complex. McWhorter on the bottom. He is going to have the trigger. As we now wait that iRacing.com pace car to pull off. There he goes, and here we go. 2 by 2, side by side, racked and stacked. Green flag in the air, and these glorious V8s come roaring to life here on Redline Racing Network. Clean start there for the 73. He's going to shoot out in front. Still 2 by 2, side by side, just behind him as we fire into the Turn 1 complex for the first time under green flag conditions. Listen to the sound of those Gen 4 engines, almost, or I should say over 900 horsepower at almost 10,000 RPM. The Screaming Demons, a big catalyst, a big part of what made this era of NASCAR the golden era. It's that Twisted Sister Gen 4 car currently being showcased tonight. Clean, beautiful start to this race. You can see some separation already starting to be present up there on that 34th place position. However, that 24 machine being piloted by Glazer, starting to paint a beat on the 73 McWhorter. A little bit of a twitch there coming off of 4, and that's the slick spot on the racetrack. Certainly was Saturday night in Gen 4 competition here, and that could be a case again here tonight, especially with that win. The invisible force that these guys cannot see. But a car link up, and now Bentley Glazer is getting a little bit of a connection problem. Could be the server trying to puke. In fact, it tried to kick me out earlier. So I'm not sure if that's an individual connection issue or it could be a server issue. So we've seen multiple drivers now blink randomly here. Top 3 breakaway as Chuck Sweeting turns the fastest lap of the race. Good golly, a 29.69 there for the 3 machine, or excuse me, the 75 machine. Michael's welcoming everyone to Larch Island, as he's got the least amount of pressure right now between everyone out there in competition. Great looking paint scheme on that Golf Mustang here tonight. In fact, let's go on board with the driver of the woods, see how he gets around this place. From Ohio, not too far from my home state of New York. You can see that 3-way battle for the lead starting to brew up ahead. Listen to the sound of that engine. Oh, wow, the 43 at Cochran. He just sent it in there on a blind leap of faith. I mean, he almost passed the one like he was standing still. He's going deep into the playbook here. Just ran the annexation of Puerto Rico out there on the racetrack on lap 7. See a little bit of offset in the steering wheel. That's very popular with this race car. Sends it in the corner, working just right above that white line. And that lane should shift up towards the wall over the course of the run. Marsh having a good run here in the early going in that one machine. Send it back up to the point. It is starting to get good in the neighborhood. Your pole center McWhorter carries the torch. Glazer wants it. So many times we've seen on Sunday or Saturday night, catching these guys has been one thing, passing them another. It just seemed like when you caught that car in front of you right where the 24 is, the car would pick up either a severely tight position or condition, or it would get wicked loose, making it really hard for you to carry the momentum to get side by side or make the pass on that car in front. And it seems like Bentley has hit that invisible barrier. He now basically paints the same line. A little bit of a shallower entry there for the 24. Going to try and stay out of that dirty wake from the 73. Going to get a good beat on him here down the backstretch. Told you these cars make all the power. Well, guess what? They make all the speed to go along with it. Let's go ahead and throw up onboard telemetry for McWhorter here. Going to be in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Clean. Nicely executed around this place. These cars do not look evil up here at the front of this thing either. They looked wicked loose last night. Oh, the 24 blinks again. That's the last thing the 75 of Sweeting wants to see. And I'm starting to think we're starting to have a server issue here too, because I can tell my connection isn't the best either. Quarter off the corner, there down the backstretch. You see the speeds now approaching 190 miles an hour. Almost 192 as he sends it off before he has to jump on those binders. Continues to apply the pressure to the back bumper of that Chevrolet Impala that continues to lead. As these two continue to battle, and that's allowing Chuck Sweeting to come into the mix in the 75 round. Here we go. The 73 goes up the hill. Glazer's going to hit the button there and send it in on the bottom. 73 got a great run there on the high side of the racetrack. Top shelf for Mama hides the cookies. As I mentioned earlier, as these laps continue to accumulate, we're going to see this racetrack start to widen out. And now the 73 looking for some additional oomph, going to take it up to the top of the fishbowl. '73 goes to the high lane. The 24 now works the middle. Shortest way around this racetrack is going to be right on that white line, ripping the bottom. But again, this car is a torque and horsepower monster. It shreds these 15-inch rims or 15-inch tighteners on this race car effortlessly. That's why you really got to be careful with the loud pedal, how hard you push it down coming out of these corners here, because it'll make you pay, especially over a long green flag run. 24 gets a great run there, but he just cannot find a way around McWhorter. Let's see if Bentley Glazer is getting loose in that dirty air wake behind the 73. Let's go back on board. See, everything's fine right here, but coming out of turn 4, usually that's where the car gets wicked loose. Not that time. See, very steady work there with the steering wheel. So he sends it off back into 1, mirroring the tire tracks of the 73. little bit of counter steering there, coming off the corners. They send it down the backstretch here. So far, it looks like that 24 is driving pretty well. Oh, got loose right there. There's the twitch I was talking about. When you get tucked in behind somebody here with some laps on these tires, coming out of 4 for whatever reason, that's like where the Waffle House dumped the bacon grease. You see the 73 drifting? He's still trying to catch that car. Nice job there by the 73. This should open the door for Glazer. He just doesn't have enough momentum. And here we go. Still pinned behind the 73. Into treacherous turn 4. It's going to open the door once again. It's going to be a John 4 special here at the line. See the respect between these two drivers, giving each other a little bit of working room here. Now, Chuck Sweeting's been sitting here. He's got VIP tickets to this battle. They are still side by side. This could become a three-way affair here for first. Which lane does Sweeting choose? Side by side, door to door at over 180 miles an hour past the start-finish line. The Red Bull machine giving it all the biscuits. McWhorter vibing on the high side. Sweeting back off a little bit there just in case. These two should tangle here. Want to give himself a little bit of a window of safety. And just as I say that, the three-way battle for first. 24 is going to take a peek again here. Nothing home. Just cannot put the throttle down. Cannot get back to the loud pedal with the 73 taking that defensive line right there. It's going to peak again. But you can see now we got 21 laps on these tires. Oh, the 73 did the slide for life. He's going to give up the lead now to Bentley Glazer. He's lucky he didn't stuff that car in the fence. Woof. First time he comes down pit road, Joseph may need a new race suit. Things just got real in the field for the driver for the 73 machine. Right now it is all Bull at the front. Red Bull, that is. In that Toyota. Sweeting able to get by McWhorter as well. And you see what I'm talking about. Now that Bentley Glazer gets that clean air, he's immediately picked it up by about almost 2/10 from when he was stuck behind the 73. He should be able now to start pulling away. The question is, how much of those tires did he use up fighting for the lead? Oh, Sweeting was almost a 10th quicker that time, a 31.06 to a 31.13. So perhaps the 24 used more tire than he'd like to. "24 laps completed out of the scheduled 100 here tonight." Let's take a moment and go through the field, starting with Chuck Sweeting in that P2 position from Hawthorne, Florida, my home state as well. Joseph McWhorter from St. Robert, your pole sitter, had a big scary moment out there on the racetrack as that car still driving like a twisted sister, currently runs in third. Michael Larch, even with the board from where he started in that Golf Mustang, currently in fourth. And running out your top 5 from North Carolina. Win here probably mean a lot to this driver here, Travis Everett in the 13 machine. Caution out on the racetrack, this scheduled break. In this case, we'll just call it a stage break, even though they didn't have stages back during this era of Winston Cup rules, timing, and rules and scoring, I should say. But this is going to be the scheduled break here. Call it a competition caution. Maybe that's the better word for it. These drivers going to have an opportunity to come down pit road, check tire wear, Perhaps make a bias adjustment or two. Then we're going to re-rack them, restack them, send them back out on the racetrack. Currently under yellow flag conditions. We're going to step aside, pay some bills, but we're going all-out coverage. You're not going to miss anything. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Redline Racing Network. Race fans, welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Doing battle on the track every Sunday night in prime time. The Premier Sim Racers Club Gen 4 Series. Pit stops complete after a competition caution here on lap 75. The iRacing.com pace car getting ready to leave the field or evacuate the racing surface, and it does. Sweeting gonna have the button. Flag race up through the H pattern here as we go back to green flag racing. Porter hanging tough on the high side. He's going to try to slingshot him coming out of the turn 2 complex. The Red Bull car comes up to give him a little bit of a draft assist. That's going to propel McWhorter back to the lead. And the 24 trying to go with him. Remember, McWhorter fires off really fast on new shoes. 24 Glazer not getting away. And before that caution, or before that competition yellow, these 3 drivers were putting on a show. McWhorter really starting to explore the space there to the middle, the high side of the racetrack. Where that first run, he was pretty committed to the bottom until he got some laps on those Goodyear Eagles. Another random blink there from the 24. That may be a thing here throughout the course of the race this evening. The 73, the 24, the 75. They all started up front. In fact, McWhorter was your pole sitter, continues to lead as Chuck Sweeting just uncorked a hot one as he goes new fast lap at 29.63. Tell you what, these 3 cars right here, they're in a league of their own. I mean, they've already punched a gap over Travis Everett in that Jack Daniels machine. Throwback to Clint Boyer when he was in his RCR days. You have the front 3. Now you have this cluster of cars right here. Larch. I'm going to throw it in like a Louisville slider here. Look at him do the Indy snake down the backstretch. There's the Burger King GT machine going up against the 28, a bad boy Troy, on the high side of the racetrack. This is for 6th and 7th. Wow, look at that 28 rocket there on that high side. He gets a heck of a run. Man, he's got some serious boogie under the hoodie down those straightaways. Look at the 28. I mean, he's still charging up there. He has decided to hit the afterburner, and he's going to burn up that right rear on the high side as he's charging towards the front right now. They'll pull even here with the 43 as they are side by side, door to door. 43 can reach up and basically high five the driver. Ooh, that was close. Sometimes these race cars suck themselves into each other, just like if you're on the high line. It seems like this Gen 4 car has a tendency just to attract to the wall. And once you get it in the wall, it can be challenging to get it out. Continue to watch this battle now for that 4th place position. 28 continues to motor there, ripping the high lane. He has found some grip up there. Last time by for Troy. 30-29. As he continues to charge now towards the front. That Richard Petty Blue machine being piloted by G.T. Azari. Or excuse me, the Burger King machine. Festive colors there, Halloween scheme on the Home Depot ride. Pretty sure that's a Pontiac. Yep, that is the Pontiac Grand Prix. I thought the nose looked familiar. The Pontiac in these cars had a little bit of an advantage with that extended nose cone. Remember that battle in Darlington? It was either 2002 or 2003 between Kurt Busch and Ricky Craven. The schnoz on that Pontiac was the difference in that one. However, oh, he's going to move him up the hill. Burger King car almost served up a flame-broiled fire suit on that deal. 24 may have clipped a little bit of the infield grass there. 14 says, hey, you go, you can have that. We're not even halfway through this thing. I'm not trying to wad up my race car yet. GT Azari, even with that exchange out there on the racetrack, still runs in that 7th place position, up 3 spots from where he started. Next in line going to be Charles Woods in that royal purple machine. Great looking paint scheme on that race car. Or excuse me, it's not royal purple. Purple Heart Homes. Nonetheless, great looking paint scheme on his ride as he runs an 8. Thought maybe we would see some more information there regarding his paint scheme here. However, it doesn't look like that is the case here with his racer car. We'll go ahead and put that back in the deck. Travis Everett kind of going the wrong way right now as he started, I believe, in that 4th place position, and now has lost 4 spots on the scoring pylon. Now he runs in 9th, just inside the top 10. Ray trying to poke his way through there, as he is there. 2 Impalas doing business right now. Good old-fashioned Gen 4 slugfest here. Perhaps seeing a little bit of front-end damage there to the 46. Looks like he caught a piece of something. And it was more than a hot dog or a hamburger wrapper, because you can see how it's kicked in there a little bit. Not quite pug-faced. Doesn't seem to be hurting the performance on that race car, as now he challenges for that 9th place position. Everett has it. Poking wants it. Just in back of this battle. Up 2 positions in the 34. Doug Wasaki in that 11th place position. Sean in the 43 now starting to fall off the pace a little bit. And that natural bite. Oh, he's in the fence. Not once, not twice, 3 times. Just like I was saying moments ago, this race car has almost seems like there's an attraction between the car and the wall, and he just could not keep it out of the fence there. Got sucked back into the thing twice. Oh, he gets loose there. Might want to back it off just a little bit, give those tires a chance to cool back down, because once they get greasy, usually it's game over from there. William Hawley in 13th position in the 31. Oh, as he gets big time squirrely. You can see he's caught the fence. A little bit of self-inflicted concrete poisoning there at one point in time throughout the course of this race. So the 13 cars that remain on the racetrack, the 93 has parked it. And I am up here in the broadcast booth. I had the luxury of taking out the Redline Racing Network machine out there in practice. Ooh, save it, save it. That 31 is just not driving how he wants it right now. He is hanging on for dear life, sweating to the oldies. We go back up front. It battles brewing once again for the lead. Here we go. We're going to go for round 2 between McWhorter and Glazer. Chuck Sweeting is there as well. 2 Chevrolets and a TRD-powered machine. If you guys ever heard of the movie The League of Their Own, I know that's a baseball reference, but these 3 drivers, and you're looking like the Blue Angels out here putting on a show. They have an eternity between these 3 and the next the rest of the competition, almost 4 seconds over Larch from this group. First into this race, that 73 ripped the low line. Now this second run, he has moved up the middle to the high side of the racetrack. Really utilizing that momentum. He can carry off of the corner. And that Red Bull rocket continues to eat on the bottom. And Chuck Sweeting, hey, he's eating some popcorn right now, cheering on this battle just in front of him. He is not having to abuse the tires like these 2 that continue to dogfight. Here comes the Red Bull man. Can he clear them into the corner? No, the 73 is able to carry more momentum there on the higher side of the racetrack. Now he's going to try to pinch him down so he cannot give it the cojones. It's a John Force special down the backstretch. That's really where that car will get loose. You see the counter steering there out of the Red Bull machine. I'll tell you what, Glazer currently now has the lead there by a fender as they're going to drag race all over again down the backstretch. McWhorter had that lead and won it off the restart. But Glazer refused to go away. He sat back there and just kept wearing him out. And now that 24 Red Bull car in Chuck Sweeting as we get deeper into this run. Those cars really start to come to life as we get more laps on these tires. Getting a notification here on the radio chatter that someone may have been disqualified from a 0X. Oh, get skinny. There wasn't a lot of room to fit that in. Wow. Tell you what, Grandma's over here. She's standing up. She's got her life alert in one hand, Colonel Free popcorn in the other. Hey, it's okay to three-way here up at the front. Tell you what, all of this racing here, hot and heavy, for the lead has allowed Larch to cut that lead in half. Larch, the fastest car on the racetrack at a 31.20, while the leaders are running 31.39s. So Larch doing a great job here managing his equipment and those Dr. Feelgoods as they become Dr. Feelbads. And this three-way battle here for the lead is not backing down. It is not tapering off. I mean, these guys, they already probably have to be worn out. But that's what's so fun about this race car. I mean, this car here is a driver's car. You have to get up on the wheel. You try to get lazy on this thing, it will bite you. Let's see if Sweeting can influence one of these race cars here. Perhaps a little bit of a draft assist on these straightaways. Sweeting now is married to the high lane behind the 73, and look at that. Comes up. basically helps him hit the afterburners and nudges the 73 of McWhorter back on by as Glazer has the Christmas spirit once again. Now Sweeting. He sat back there and watched these guys duke it out. He didn't have to burn his stuff up. He's got some fresher shoes, and he's going to make this pass look easy. Says, hey, thanks, boys, putting on that show in front of me. Now it's my turn to carry the torch, and the 75 goes to the point for the first time tonight. So Glazer even with the board, started third, runs third. McWhorter back one spot, coughed one up. Your pole sitter, Chuck Sweeting, was started P2, now leads. Larch continuing to close continuing to close in here. We're up the time delta here. You can see. Comers and goers here are going to be a storyline as they were Sunday night as well. How sweet it is to be the leader here. All the clean air getting to the nose of that race car, and you can see it has really helped turn things up out there on the racetrack. Is now Sweeting fastest car out there, 31.24 last time by. Larch, that fourth place car, second quickest at a 31.32. Guys are in trouble when Chucky gets hot. Almost 0.6 of a second as McWhorter and Glazer have been like magnets. They just cannot seem to get away from each other. Let's take a look here at the strategy vector on the pit side of things, and you can see now 37 laps courtesy of that competition caution. Everyone came down pit road. So this is the longest that we've went under green flag conditions on a set of Goodyears. And trust me, they are now trending towards the feel bad portion of this run. 40 laps on these tires. It's going to be slip sliding. It's going to be like riding a bucket Bronco. Oh, big time. That back end of that car checked out to lunch. Had to get way out of the loud pedal there. That should allow the 24 to pull alongside, and it does. Let's go on board with Joseph McWhorter, driver of the 73. Here, side by side, look at this close quarters action at over 160 miles an hour. Look at how he is fighting that steering wheel. Coming off of 4 there, the 24 Red Bull's going to get a run. Oh, that's the last thing. You do not want to blink it out in front of a driver going into the corner, especially after just completing a pass. It's okay to get up close and personal out there on the racetrack, but you don't want the competition winding up in the cockpit of your race car when they come back in, or they appear back on the racetrack, as I should say. The 24 does the slide. He puts on a Louisville slider off the top side of the second. He was full-blown drift mode. As we are now suddenly writing lap 69 into the history books here. As the leader, Chuck Sweeting, comes to the start-finish line. A officially now 70 laps. As green flag pit stops seem to be underway. I believe that is Glazer that continues to lead. Larch now up to second. Is Chuck Sweeting? Oh, did he may have actually went off road there into the grass. Is Chuck Sweeting, Doug Wasaki on pit road? Typically, it's come one, come all. The 24 elects to stay out another lap. Larch as well. McWhorter now on pit road. Crew chief made the call. Come on down. This should be a 4-tire stop here to Kansas Sunoco Racing Fuel. Under green flag conditions, you want to execute. You don't want to go over that line. He stops just inside the box. Currently working lap 72 now of the scheduled 100 here from Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're going to step aside, pay some bills. We'll be back momentarily right here on Redline Racing Network. Race fans, good evening and welcome back to Charlotte, North Carolina. Chuck Sweeting, after green flag pit stops, now has the biggest lead on the evening for the leader. 1.5 seconds the gap over Travis Everett. Where did he come from? Just as I say that now, Curtis Preston in the 20s going to go on by. Travis Everett came down pit road on lap 62. You can see the tire differential. Oh! That was a big-time collision with the fence. And I know it's called a safer barrier, but that thing doesn't give very much. That was not smooth Tennessee whiskey right there. As we're just 20 laps into this thing, as things just got up close and personal for Travis Everett in that fifth place position. Here comes Chucky. Commanding lead at this point in time. Now, I can tell you this, while Chuck leads, McWhorter stayed out 2 additional laps, last down on lap 71. Sweeting was down on lap 69. As you guessed it, round number 3 of the evening. The 24 just catches those blinks at some of the worst timing possible. And again, that no control of his own. These guys know how to put on a show. I don't care if the battle's for second, third, first, or 25th. I mean, these guys here, they do it right in this Gen 4 race car. Sweeting continues to lead. We're going to keep it focused here. McWhorter currently runs in third. Bentley Glazer second. Similar story here. 2 laps different. It's on tires here. Glazer down on lap 72. McWhorter down on 70. And this battle here is starting to dissipate. Doesn't look like it's going to be a repeat of the first and second rounds, as these guys were basically fixated at the hip. You could not get any separation between these two. As Glazer says, hey, I got to hit the jets. There's only 16 laps to go in this thing. And Glazer does turn up the wick. In fact, he is almost 0.2 faster now than Chuck Sweeting. Let's go on board with Glazer as he tries to run down the leader. Target in his sights, in the crosshairs for the driver of the Red Bull machine. He is in attack mode right now. Chuck Sweeting very good over the course of the long run. But the fresher tires are certainly paying dividends right now for Bentley Glazer. Sweeting kind of arcing it in the corner there where Glazer's taking more of a shallow entry. Glazer's going to catch him, but is he going to be able to get around him? Just like if you were following along on Saturday night's coverage, tonight, similar story, same cars at the same racetrack. It's like an invisible force field when you get about a half a car length behind the car you're trying to run down. It's going to be an old-fashioned Friday night short track special here. 12 laps to go. We got a battle heating up here for the lead. How much Red Bull does Glazer have left in his tank? He used a lot of that rocket fuel catching the 75. This is where Chuck needs to be at his best. That car just ahead of that Red Bull machine. Don't even think about looking out that rearview mirror. Let the spotter, let the crew chief do their job. You do yours. As Glazer blinks out once again. He is there stalking his prey now. Camry peeks to the outside. He's going to try to keep that car wound up there on the high side, get back to the loud pedal, and it's a John Force special down the backstretch. Your new tires prevail. Does Chuck have the fight and the bite left inside the cockpit of that race car? Chuck not giving up here. .24, he's there, just quite can't clear him. Oh, the 75 got loose. That should allow the 24 to come down and clear the position. Glazer to the lead. If you're following McWhorter, he is 1.46 seconds off of this battle. His time is running out for him. There's a new mayor in town, and he's got all the bull. Red Bull, that is. Brian Vickers, so good at this racetrack at one point in time. And here we are, 12, 13 years later. The 2024 iRacing campaign in this series, Bentley Glazer showing flashes of the 83. Chuck's not out of this thing yet. Could be trying to cool those good years down a little bit, make one final push here as we're under 10 laps to go. Tick, tick, tick. The clock continues. Those laps continue to wind down. Is other than a competition caution, we have been lean, mean, and green since the drop of the green flag. Right now, Glazer just needs to be the Iceman, the man of steel. If you make a mistake, Sweeting is close enough. In fact, last time by, he was a half a tenth quicker. That lap was the reverse. The 24 just a little bit quicker. Gentleman's handshake lap now being ran out there on the racetrack. Is just 5 to go. Bentley Glazer trying to glaze the competition. Started in that third place position, and the more laps that these guys have ran as this track has taken rubber, the better that Toyota has became. Chuck Sweeting from Hawthorne, Florida. I mean, the more of the story, he's been one of the long run boys. So good as these tires continue to age and wear out. But the difference is Glazer has a couple lap fresher good years than Sweeting. You can see the 75's really trying to push the issue here. It's just 3 laps remaining. Gave up a little bit there. Three laps come off the board, 2 to go. Popsicle sticks now in the air. Less than 3 miles remaining for Bentley Glazer. A driver that has flexed some serious muscle in this series. Always seems to be in the conversation. So he comes out of turns 3 and 4. Sees Barney, white flag in the air, and we are racing back to checkers. One more time for the Red Bull Rocket. Sends it in about a half a car length above that white line. He's going to send it down the backstretch for the final time and all of that 10,000 RPM glory. Into 3 and 4. He's going to salute the fans in the RV lot. As he comes off of that tumultuous turn 4 at the line, the Red Bull Rocket Bentley Glazer is going to bag one here in NASCAR's backyard. Here in primetime on Redline Racing Network. Your winning moment of the race being brought to you by the one and only Black Magic. Remember the strategic partner alliance here on Redline Racing Network. You want to put some serious 5 in your ride. Get out of the static. Go see the guys at Black Magic. Remember, it's good for 2/10 out there on the racetrack. Those same 2/10 that Bentley Glazer had. As he got it done here. As he gets ready to burn the house down. Your winning moment. What a win for Glazer. Chuck Sweeting, Michael Larch was able to get that 3rd place position from Joseph McWhorter to dethrone him out of the podium. We're going to interview our top 3 drivers here as the 24 takes it in on the Legends track and then decides to park it in his pit stall. As always, we're going to interview the top 3 as we give the drivers a moment to celebrate with their teams. Again, want to thank everyone for showing up here tonight, joining us on Redline Racing Network. If you could be so kind to help us support the cause as we close in on our first milestone of 1,000 subscribers, like, share, subscribe. That way you won't miss anything. All of the high-flying racing action each and every time. The Premier Sim Racers Club are out there doing battle on the racetrack each and every Sunday night. We'll take a look here once again to see if these drivers are now ready for their interview. Looks like our 2nd place driver, Chuck Sweeting, going to be available here. Let's send him up to the Tony Trepass Memorial Broadcast booth. Chuck Sweeting, Matt up top. You got a copy there, boss man.
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great after watching that battle you 3 drivers put out there on the racetrack. Chuck, I mean, you were a grinder tonight. I know Gruden grinder is more of a football term, but man, you started this race up near the front, and you had a primetime seat for that big-time battle between McWhorter out there on the racetrack and Michael Larch going at it at that time, or Bentley Glazer going at it. How were you able to find the extra performance in that race car as this race went on and come out there and become the victor here when all is said and done at the drop of the checkered flag, my man?
Well, I wish I was the victor. 2nd place tonight. Bentley got the win, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, I rode behind him and Patrick for first half of the race or more and just saved tires, and I didn't save enough at the end. And Bentley had a little bit later strategy to the overcut and got by me and took the win tonight. But it was a lot of fun racing with those guys tonight.
Yes, certainly. Obviously, you didn't get the win out there on the racetrack, but as far as I'm concerned, yeah, definitely the victor in that tire strategy and being able to save those Dr. Feelgoods out there, just so strong over the long run. How are you able to do that in a race car that has all the horsepower and torque? I mean, you made it look easy at times, and I know it's anything but.
Well, the setup was good. It was pretty easy to drive. You just had to be careful not to overheat the right front or the right rear. And I run a different line than both Bentley and Joseph were running tonight, so I'm a little bit closer to the bottom line on exit than they are. But I don't know. They were making it work, so maybe that helped me in the first half. But I think I just abused them in the second half there.
Hey, sometimes you got to get the boogie under the hoodie going, and especially getting down to the end of these things. And you're from Florida. I'm down here in Port St. Lucie as well. So great to have another fellow Floridian up here in the booth. Before I cut you loose, man, who do you want to thank who helps you get it done on the 75?
I just want to thank the league for all they do, the admins for the hard work they put in week in and week out, and the fans for tuning in. I appreciate it. And thanks to you for the awesome broadcast. I'll look forward to watching that back, and we'll see if we can do one better next week.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Chuck Sweeting and company put on a show here for a majority of this race. Comes home just a little bit short, but man, was he fast, especially over the long run tonight. A solid performance, looks to keep the momentum going next week. That is the driver of the 75. Chuck Sweeting, thanks for joining me up here in the booth.
All right, thanks a lot, Matt. Have a good night.
You too, sir. Always a pleasure to talk to Chuck. Always. Great interview up here in the booth. We're going to send him back now down to the infield care center. And it looks like the winner of the race and the third place finisher not going to be available for comment here this evening. So we do appreciate Chuck, the second place finisher tonight, joining us up here, recapping his heck of a run this evening. But unfortunately, that means it has come to that point in time where all good things must come to an end, including this broadcast. Want to thank all the partner sponsors with all their hard work, the men and women behind the scenes, everything they do to make the premier Sim Racers Club such a success that it is each and every week as they do battle on the iRacing.com servers. Don't forget, they go back into action on the Ghost Racing Network side of things Tuesday night. I'll be at the helm to call the Xfinity race. That's going to kick off at 9 p.m. Eastern time as well. And as the late, great Tony Trapasso used to say, as you walk down the road of life this week, do us all a favor. Don't play in traffic. And we'll see you next time right here on Redline Racing Network.